Today I am going to show you how to make the Ugly Elf Christmas scarf. This is a super easy double crochet pattern. We're going to increase on both ends so we get some nice points on each end. Using that mistletoe variegated yarn creates a nice, perfect, ugly sweater vibe for our scarf. I have added some fringe around as a border. That's completely optional. You can always just use regular acrylic yarn. You can spice this up even more by adding appliques or bells to give it that nice ugly sweater scarf feel. For the majority of this project, I am using the Red Heart Super Saver in the color Mistletoe. It's just a 4-weight acrylic yarn, variegated. You will need at least 2, probably 3 skeins of these, depending on how long you want your scarf to be. I am also using this sort of furry, fringy type yarn. I have no idea where I got this, what it's called, what brand it is. I found it in my stash. You can also use a regular acrylic yarn or something similar to this for that border if you choose. I'll be using a 5.5mm crochet hook, and optional, I've got some bells to put on the ends of my scarf. Of course, you'll also need scissors and a yarn needle to weave in your ends. To start, we want a slip knot on our hooks, and we're going to start with a chain of 4. We're now going to work a single crochet back into the foundation chain. So you're going to work a single crochet right into that first chain away from your hook, a single crochet in that next chain, and a single crochet in the last chain. So now we have 3 stitches for row 2. We're going to work an increase. We're going to be working an increase on each side for our increase rows. So every even row is going to be an increase row. I'm going to start with a chain 1, does not count as anything, turn, and into the very first stitch right there, we've got our 3 stitches, 1, 2, and that first one that we just chained 1 out of, that's going to be the stitch that we're working in. I'm going to put 2 double crochets right into that same stitch, and that will increase on this side. So I've got 2 stitches now. I'm going to work a double crochet into that middle stitch, and on our very last stitch I'm going to increase. So I'm going to work 2 double crochets into that very last stitch, and I should now have 5 total stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You always want an odd number of stitches as you're working this pattern. So row 2 was our increase row. For row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn. The chain 1s in this pattern do not count as anything. For every odd row, we're just going to work a double crochet into each stitch across. So we should have 5 double crochets at the end of row 3. I'm going to yarn over, work a double crochet in that first stitch, a double crochet in the next stitch, a double crochet in the next, a double crochet in the next, and a double crochet in that last stitch. And I should have 5 total stitches. Row 4 is an even row, so we're going to increase. chain 1, turn, and work 2 double crochets right into that very first chain. A double crochet into the next, a double crochet into the next, a double crochet into the next. I've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm at my last stitch. I'm going to work 2 double crochets into that last stitch. So I now have increased by 2, so I should have 7 total double crochets. And that is just going to be the pattern repeat for the first end of the scarf. You want to work this repeat for as wide as you want your scarf to be. For me, I'm going to work an increase on every even row until I have 27 total double crochets. After that, we just work a double crochet into each stitch, keeping that same number, so I'll still have 27 stitches for each row to grow the length of our scarf. So I'm going to keep working this increase until I have 27, or for you until you have your desired width of your scarf, making sure that you always have an odd number of stitches and that you're increasing on every even row. The odd rows, you just work a double crochet into each stitch. Once you have that width, you're just going to work the length until you have however long you want your scarf to be, or maybe until you get close to running out of yarn, because we still have to work our decreases on the other side. So go ahead, work up that portion of your scarf, increasing until you reach your width and increasing the length of your scarf, and I will be back in just a second to show you how to decrease. I've worked most of this third skein of the mistletoe, and I've got a good length, nice good length for a scarf. It is time to decrease. We're going to start with a chain 1, just like every row we've done. Turn. For our decreases, we're going to go back and decrease all the way until we have 3 stitches left. And we're going to decrease every other row. We want to decrease these 2 stitches on the end and make them into 1 stitch. So I'm going to start by yarning over, putting my hook in that first stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, back through 2 and stop, go to the next stitch, yarn over, put my hook in that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, back through 2. You should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, back through everything, and that is our 1 stitch. Into the next, and all the way across, we're just going to work our double crochets. Work across until you have 2 stitches left on the end, and we will also decrease on that side. At the other end, I've got my 1, 2 stitches left. So we're going to do the same thing, yarn over, put our hook in that first one, pull up a loop, yarn over, back through 2, go to the next and last stitch, yarn over, put your hook in that last stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, back through 2. You've got 3 on your hook, yarn over, back through everything. So we've successfully decreased by 1 on each side. That is our decrease row. The next row, chain 1, turn, and you're going to work a double crochet into each stitch all the way across. Chain 1s don't count as anything, so work a double crochet right back into that same first stitch and a double crochet into each stitch all the way across. So you're going to alternate between a decrease row where you decrease on each side, and then the following row will just be straight double crochets all the way across. You want to work in this way until you have 3 stitches left to form that other point. I've just worked the last decrease row. I now have 3 stitches. You can fasten off at this point. If you're going to put a single crochet border around the entire scarf, you can join anywhere that you want. Since I've got a little bit of this yarn left over, I am going to show you how to do those 2 ends. So the very points of your scarf, we're just going to add a shell in the middle stitch of each end, just to kind of round it off. So like I said, if you're changing color, you can join anywhere. I'm just going to start with a chain 1 and turn. In that first stitch of our 3 on the point, I'm going to work a slip stitch. Into that middle stitch, I'm going to work 5 double crochets. And into the very last stitch, a slip stitch. So now we've got a little bit of a rounded point on the end. And then you would continue to work a single crochet up the sides of your scarf, back down to the other point, working a slip stitch in the first of those 3 on the other end, 5 double crochets in the middle stitch, and then a slip stitch on the other end, and then you would continue working those single crochets. And if you're changing yarn, you can just join really anywhere, but I wanted to show you how to do that little shell on the end. So I just kept the same yarn so I could show you how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and finish mine up, and I'll show you the finished elf scarf in just a second. Here she is. Not very ugly, actually. That variegated yarn works up so nicely. We've got our 2 ends. I've added some bells and that fringe all the way around. Just kind of gives it an extra something. If you've never worked with the sort of fringy yarn and you're a beginner, I do not recommend it. It took forever to get that fringe all the way around. There were struggles. So a regular acrylic yarn in whatever color will work just as well. We just wanted to give it a nice single crochet border all the way around. And of course, adding this fringe does make it a little bit extra. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season this year. I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.